Hi, I'm Benjamin Ruiz. This is my persuasive speech, which you guys enjoy. Did you know that the first ever mystery to exist in a video game, otherwise known as an Easter egg to ever exist in a video game, was made by programmer Ron Milner in the 1977 arcade game Starship One? Probably not, unless you're a gamer like me. I've been gaming for about 10 years now, and through these 10 years of gaming, I have many and numerous moments of endearment and joy that I will never forget, and I'll hold on to me for years to come. Along with these moments of joy came major learning experiences that have become chief aspects as to why I am who I am today, which may be shocking for some of you, as it was for me, especially considering some of the reasons that I would like to discuss today. Because some of these reasons actually hurt me to my core as a gamer. Because in recent memory, video games, especially violent video games, have become the victim, have become the scapegoat, the culprit, quote unquote, for all these different violent acts that have occurred across the world for centuries, and and especially in the past few years, such as George Floyd's death. People probably blame that on video games, which is really sad. Not only sad, but ridiculous. But not only ridiculous, but insulting to me as a gamer and to gaming. Because gaming can do so much more than what we lead ourselves to believe. Video games can be good forms of learning tools for children, good stress management tools for adults, and even good form of tool for seniors to help maintain their mental capabilities and cognitive ability. But first, I would like to discuss why this fallible story that has been produced and vomited towards you for so many years is it's only that, a story. The first point I would like to just make is that before video games came movies, and before movies came books, generally speaking. And the one thing that they all have in common for sure is that they all encountered the same trials and tribulations as video games do today, where they're being accused of many different violent acts that have occurred over the years. And if it was really the case that violence was correlated towards video games, don't you think maybe, I don't know, such frivolous films such as Joaquin Phoenix's Joker would have been banned by now? Don't you think films such as Quentin Tarantino's lighthearted Kill Bill franchise would have been banned by now? And I know some of you might be rebuttaling by saying how, well then, there's been games like Resident Evil 7 Biohazard in which its gore has been reduced significantly in areas such as Asia, specifically China and Japan, which is fair. And maybe some of you are saying, well, what about games such as Rockstar Games' Manhunt that was literally banned in areas such as Australia? And while I can see those as fair points, the problem I have with those is that areas like Australia and Asia, they're not really the source. They don't even talk about this controversy. Rather, it's America that's the source of all of this ridiculous stories, these stories. CNN has actually recorded and documented on findings by experts from the University of Oxford, who've not only gone as far as to denounce the ridiculous nature of these stories and conspiracies, but even have gone as far as to assert that the only place where these stories hold any form of water is in America. And why does America keep pushing out this same narrative again and again, despite it always being proven to be completely incredible? And that's because of how gaming has become such a great and highly profitable medium in over a span of a couple years, and especially in comparison to mediums such as movies and books. According to a WPEC analyst finding for how much video games have become worth over the years, it has actually increased its worth by about 9 to 10% since 2019, and is worth about $183.5 billion, which is absolutely insane and impressive for any medium in such a short span of time. So I think that goes to show how it's really all about the money at the end of the day for some of these people in America, and they're kind of just pushing out this narrative for the sake of such. Now that I've debunked this whole ridiculous accusation, I would like to explain why video games can actually be very beneficial to us, to all demographics alike. Now, as I've said, video games are a good form of learning devices and learning tools for children. Like me, for example, one of the first games I've ever played as a young lad was Call of Duty World at War, a World War II first-person shooter. And through this, I've been taught a lot of things, such as the gross, visceral, vitriolic, vulgar nature of war, and even like have been more inclined to learn more about World War II and other historical events, such as the Vietnam War. Now, let me emphasize that I'm not saying, okay, so you're saying I should let my 5-year-old play this game, where you can literally hook up with strippers and kill them? Absolutely not. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is under strict supervision and discretion between the parents and the children, video games can actually be quite beneficial tools for their development. Sources such as parents.com, a source that literally advises parents on what to do in order to raise their children, even advocates the use of video games, and how one of the major reasons why is because they can be effective toward teaching children problem-solving skills. And another reason why I think they can be great learning tools is because there are much more effective ways of morally teaching children and even adults and other gamers alike about such. In comparison to movies, as the players themselves are solely responsible for the actions that take place within the game, and they'll be a lot more affected by, whatever results from their actions. Examples of this can be even Telltale games The Walking Dead that emphasizes these decisions that you make and the relationships you make with these characters. Along with this, video games can also be a good form of stress management for disgruntled adults. Like me, for example, once again. Whenever I get stressed out from a day of work or schoolwork or just me being me, because I always stress myself out, I usually love to turn on my Xbox, maybe play some Call of Duty Black Ops, especially the zombies mode. I freaking love that mode. And just kill zombies left and right as my character calls them freak bags left and right. It's awesome. Nerdy, but awesome. But for me personally, it's been a good form of stress management and a therapy for me to help me keep my emotions intact and controlled. Studies such as Texas A&M has even gone so far as to support this as well, saying how both male and females have encountered significant decreased levels of depression and hostility towards themselves and others after playing video games, which is quite interesting to think about, especially within today's society with the media. Along with this, finally, evidence that shows that it can help seniors as well maintain their cognitive ability, like I've said numerous times, can be found in videos such as Telegraph's video on how a 100-year-old woman uses Nintendo brain activity games to actually maintain her brain power, which is quite impressive and quite significant for what video games can do. Now, after showing you the benefits of video games, I would like to illustrate a world that we could progress into if we just stop blaming video games for everything and we start actually looking at the root of the problem with some of these people who commit these acts of violence. Now, with this world in mind, it would make it a lot more relieving for gamers such as myself without having to feel like I'm accepting the stigmatic presence of violence being a part of video games and that as a result causing violence and vice versa. Which, no one wants to be considered the villain of the story. No one. And why would gamers be? And why should they be? Just for playing games and enjoying themselves? And also a second part of it is that if we stop blaming video games and start actually dissecting why some of these people do what they do and commit some of the certain malicious acts that they have, that would only result in a better world where people are actually getting the treatment that they need in order to become better, more productive people of society. And even video games could probably be a good way of teaching them how to be productive as well. It is through this that we can better allow our people to become more productive people of society. I hope that through explaining the irrational accusations that have been placed on video games over the years, the benefits that they can actually grant you if you decide to play them, I hope that is also showing you that we need to stop beating around the bush, so to speak, and to focus on the real problem of some of these people that need major help or before it's too late. I hope that you at least tolerate video games, but I also hope that you guys will actually go out and try playing one at one point if you haven't already. As I feel like they can be really fun ways of enjoying yourself and fantasizing about some of the things you may have in your head, such as maybe being a soldier in the future, or maybe being like a World War II soldier in Normandy, if that's what you're really up for. At least give them a try, and at the very least tolerate them and see what benefits they can actually hold for certain individuals. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you on the battlefield killing freak bag with me. O.R.E.